Hi, folks. The instructions for this introduction assignment are record an introduction of yourself, about 3 to 5 minutes, similar to what you would do on the first day of class in person. Give us a bit more than your name, rank, and serial number. Tell us a bit about why you're here, how you got here, and what you hope to get out of this class other than a grade. We all know we want a grade. Do make sure to give your name, major, hometown, job, year in school, etc. Also, make sure to watch the videos submitted by your classmates and leave a few comments like a discussion. All right, so there are many different ways to complete this assignment. Some might like to use screencasting software such as Screencast-O-Matic. Others might just shoot a quick video themselves with the phone. Others might voice over a PowerPoint. It doesn't matter, just be creative and give us some images or video, voice, anything else you want to throw in there. And most important thing, have fun with it. Right now, I'm recording this video in Zoom, and I've got a green screen behind me. Let me show you what we got in the background here. Some of you may be curious. Let's go to none. All right, that's what it looks like in my office right now. I've lived this way for a while. Most of you probably don't have a green screen, and that's okay. I only got this green screen, I don't know, a couple of weeks, about a year ago, because I figured a couple of weeks was not going to be the extent to which we would be in lockdown. And sure enough, a year later, I'm doing most of the same things I used to do and talking to a lot of the same people. I'm just between a camera and a green screen these days. And who would have thunk it? All right, what else we got here? So I want you guys to have fun with this. Again, I'm doing this video in Zoom. I got a green screen behind me. You don't need to have one. You can have whatever you want there. Your socks, underwear, laundry on the bed. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm also going to share my PowerPoint. So with that, who am I? I'll give you a hint. I'm your professor. There we go. That's me as a young lad, about 2011 or 12, something like that. That was at a wedding. Looking strapping. And let's see, so what have I done in my life? First off, I got my bachelor's degree in advertising and Spanish at Texas Tech in 2002. I went off to work for a few years, and I ended up going back to Texas Tech and getting my master's in mass comm in 2008. At that time, the universe did its due, and suddenly I found myself flying into Baton Rouge from the deserts and wastelands of West Texas. And I saw things like vegetation. I saw things like foliage. I saw things like water. I'm like, my God, what have I been doing out in the desert all my life? This is amazing. Those oak trees in Baton Rouge, even the oak trees here on the UL campus, I love them to death. So I developed a quick spiritual connection to the Acadiana area. And I got my PhD finally in media and public policy at LSU, and I'll tell you about some of the sausage making that went into getting that thing. But first off, what classes have I taught? Well, this is my second time teaching COM 100. So I've been teaching mostly upper level classes for the past 6-7 years. These include things like, I'm not going to go through all of them, but a lot of PR classes, social media classes, and past few years, I've also been doing grad level courses in research and data analysis. And so I'm kind of new to COM 100, but I'm excited about it, and we're going to have fun with it. What else? I've got I have quite a bit of professional experience. I got my start in mass communication, doing radio sales and production for a Tejano country radio station. And when students say, what the hell is Tejano country radio? I tell them, well, it's sort of like Mexican Zydeco, somewhere in the polka area. It's very Texas-y, very northern Mexican, also called norteño, or confused with norteño, which is another style of music. I did a lot of PR work as an undergrad. I worked in an annual giving office, which is part of institutional advancement. I signed up as a lowly annual giving caller, and over the next 3 years, I worked my way up to senior caller and then later manager. And I was actually training people to make these calls. And I went off, after I graduated, I went off for a few years and came back as the assistant director of the annual program, or annual giving program, and we ran a 20-station call center, and I got that up to 23 stations, and we did mail out campaigns. And what we were trying to do, we were trying to build alumni relations. We were solidly in the field of alumni relations. We were trying to get their information updated. We were trying to solicit for donations, but mostly we were just trying to be like a tie between the university and the alumni. Later, then other life things happened. I ended up at the Public Policy Research Lab at LSU when I started working on my doctorate. Public Policy Research Lab at LSU is where they run a call center, they do focus groups, they do interviews, they do all kind of content analysis. They're closely plugged in with the Baton Rouge public television, and they do all kinds of things to get a like a bearing, and kind of feel the pulse out of Louisiana publics and see what they think about different issues such as price gouging after hurricanes, insurance rates, health insurance, all kinds of different stuff like that. And what they do is they compile this information annually or possibly quarterly, and give it to the state legislators in Baton Rouge so that our legislators can theoretically make informed policy decisions based on public opinion data and what people want. At one point, my funding ran out, and I got a job in the immigration services at LSU, and I was in charge of. I handle all the H-1B cases. H-1B is a type of work visa, and LSU has a lot. Well, all universities have a lot of international faculty who need to keep their immigration processes kosher with the Department of Homeland Security and the Labor Department. And so those are the things I was doing. My first gig out of the PhD program, I was an assistant professor at Stephen F. Austin State University in Nacogdoches, Texas. And that place was a little bit too small for me. I just didn't quite take the small town living. But luckily, UL at Lafayette was looking for somebody around the time I was getting tired of living in a small town. And I started meeting people. I applied, and what do you know? I ended up here. Now, 5 years later, this is the most glorious job I've ever had in my life. And I really like Lafayette. I love being here. I like the people. I like the food. I like the celebrations when they're going on. And you know what? Being in Lafayette for me wasn't that bad during the pandemic, to be honest. And I don't know. I just love this place, and I'm glad that you guys are here. And we're going to learn a lot about comm studies together. Here's some more about me. That's me and my wife. We're having some tamales someplace, either in Lufkin or Nacogdoches, Texas. We had a lot of Hispanic friends there, and we ate a lot of tamales. It was great. That's me and my wife having a drink at a bar in Nacogdoches around 2015. And you'll notice my looks have kind of changed over the years. I go to this young, strapping young man to an older looking man. And now in my midlife crisis, I'm going for the long hair. But you can witness this yourselves as we go into 2016. That was in Houston, I think. Those are my kids. They're making a guest appearance here. And you can see it in 2017. That's outside the Baptist Church here in Lafayette. And you can kind of see I'm starting to get a little crow's feet there. And look at that. 2018, the spouse and I visited Washington, D.C., and we're both looking pretty elderly at this point. 2019, we visited Madrid. It was gorgeous. I would love to go back to Madrid. It's a wonderful, wonderful city. Reminds me a lot of New Orleans. It reminds me of Mexico City, too, but it's like Madrid is one thing, New Orleans is another thing, and Mexico City is just something like, has both of them with something completely unrecognizable put on top of it. And that doesn't make sense to anybody unless you've been to all three of these places. Here we are in 2020. My wife finally got she's from Mexico, and she got her citizenship in October. And we couldn't be happier, because now we no longer have to fear the heavy hand of Homeland Security and staying kosher with the Immigration Service and paying them hundreds and thousands of dollars. Yay. What else we got? And Valentine's Day. All right, what else we got? Done PR research. I've looked at a lot of, I had one publication called New Media Icebreakers. I looked at how the Coast Guard used public affairs, or used YouTube in their public affairs. I also looked at the practice of public relations at Blue Cross Blue Shield, Louisiana. I also looked at how the Air Force uses alien technology in the practice of PR. And the way they do that is through branding. They work with Hollywood to produce different movies and TV series that involve the Air Force. And the Air Force takes a crack at the script to make sure the portrayal is consistent, and in alignment with their main objective to project and protect their image to global audiences. And if you want a global audience, you got to go to Hollywood. I also dabbled in the Libertarian Party for a little bit a few years ago. And that's pretty much the PR research I've done. But the research that I really dig, check this out. I look at parasocial relationships. These are the one-way relationships that we have with people we see on television or the internet. They don't know who we are, but we know all about them. And these parasocial relationships tend to affect our behavior, our ideas, our beliefs, and all kinds of things. And I had a great thesis just yesterday. One of my thesis students presented one that demonstrated that people who are more behaviorally inclined to react to Donald Trump on television or online or on their phone are also more behaviorally inclined to do other things, such as storm the Capitol. I'm also interested in the concepts of imagination, cognition, and personality. Now, I believe that imagination is where media effects happen. Personality contributes and cognition contribute input variables, but media effects are largely functions of human imagination. I also look at social media integration. This is how we integrate social media into our daily lives. And I'm also looking at artificial intelligence is fascinating to me, especially some machine learning and algorithms and how they can radicalize people. And I kind of look at it as sort of a co-evolution of silicon-based life, which would be artificial intelligence, and carbon-based life. It's like doing this dance through eternity together. And what else we got? We got nothing else. That's what I got for you. Again, my name's Philip Madison. I'll be teaching this class. If you have any questions, email me or post them in the forum or wherever. Just email me. That's probably the best way to do it. All right. I look forward to meeting you guys. Have a great semester, and we'll be in touch.